Welcome to Redbirds on the Arch, your home for everything St. Louis Cardinals. From the crack of the bat to the roar of the Busch Stadium crowd, we're bringing you all the latest from the heart of Cardinals Nation. Whether you're talking legendary history, clutch moments, rising stars, or the latest hot streak, if it's Redbirds baseball, we've got it covered. So grab your peanuts and your scorecards. It's time to talk Cardinals baseball. Welcome back to Redbirds on the Arch. I'm Aidan. I'm here with two of my greatest friends, Tyler Gettinger, on my left at least, and then TZ on my right in his new polo, new sweatshirt, whatever we want to call it. Show it off, show it off.
Pull over.
Absolutely.
Which day was that? Was that a Saturday promotion?
Yeah, it was a Saturday.
It looks good. I like it a lot, actually. But we're
I
recording
really
this.
wanted it.
I don't blame you. I kind of wish I had one right now.
I think I sent it to you guys when they had all the giveaways on the table and they were posted
Yeah.
on Twitter for the people that got in early access. And I was like, man, I want that blue pullover. And then, like, a couple days later, I was like, oh my God, it's this Saturday.
Well, you got it, and you look good in it. But we're recording the day after Easter. I kind of want to ask how everybody's Easter was. I hope it was good.
Yeah, ate a lot of ham, a lot of muscatoli. That's kind of the two go-tos in our family for Easter.
Nice.
It was really good. Kind of dealt with a little bit of sickness, but we're better now, and
Good.
we're gonna record a podcast here. So this is prime podcasting time right
Yes,
after
it
Easter.
is.
And getting ready for a Cardinals game to come on. So if you see me looking up, it's probably because something happened.
Yeah, I'll be looking down at my phone watching the game as well. TZ, your Easter good, great, bad, maybe.
Food was great, but I on the bad side of things, I did not get an Easter basket, so pretty upsetting.
Uh-oh.
I've officially graduated to egg hiding territory, folks.
Nice.
20 years old now, and I'm not allowed to do the Easter basket. I was the Easter bunny this year, so hiding all the eggs for my little cousins and stuff. I think I hid 83 eggs this year. So
Jeez. There you go.
But how many did they not find? Because that's what
that's when you know you're
matters.
good.
Yeah, we want to know how good you are.
I think at the end when I was just walking around, because I kind of like pointed them out after I found them myself. I think I found 3 that were down more towards the creek that they didn't find. So I don't think they didn't venture into snake territory, which I did to place the eggs. So
You did that on purpose so you'd have a little Easter candy left over, huh?
I did steal a couple quarters out of a couple of the eggs.
There you go. Hey, money's money. It ain't gonna get you anything, but money's money.
Jeez.
Um,
Kids are
Mom,
getting
don't
eggs
watch-
to go,
don't watch
why
this
are these
podcast."
empty?
Hey, we kept the candy in there. We put candy and quarters in some, and I just stole the quarters from the ones that had the candy and the quarters.
Yeah.
So-
That makes sense.
So, and I wasn't the only cousin that was hiding that did that. So, not the only guilty party here.
Well, that's not too bad. Well, guys, we're officially like what, a week and a half into the season now?
9 games.
At least the major league season, and
Yeah.
it's been an interesting season so far. The Cardinals sit at 5-4 as we currently sit here. They won the series against the Rays. They won their series against
A good Mets
the
team.
Mets. They lost 2 of 3 to Detroit. How are we feeling about the season so far? Maybe not players specifically yet, but just how are we feeling about the season being here now?
TZ, you want to go first?
Yeah, it's kind of going as I projected. There's some really good games, some really bad games. There's games that maybe look bad at times, but this is a young team that's very hopeful and they're bringing the energy, so it feels like they're never really out of a game, which that's something to say compared to the past few years with this team. In the past few years, there was a lot of games where it felt like once they were like 3 runs down, like they probably weren't
Yeah.
coming back, most
You could
likely.
turn off
But
the TV. Yeah.
yeah, most of the times it's bedtime by then. But this season, it's more fun to watch. I I can get like what they come back from the other day, like six or something.
The Rays, they were down 7-1. Yeah.
Yeah,
In
they
that
were down by
in
six, and they
opening
came
day.
back and won
Yeah.
that game. That was exciting. So yeah, this team's already a lot more fun to watch. There'll probably be a lot of ups and downs. Like maybe we'll lose for a week straight and then win for a week straight. But I'm intrigued by this team.
Yeah. I think I don't think you could have scripted a better start for this team, right? Like, legitimately, like we know this team isn't supposed to be the best. Like, it's a rebuilding year, a lot of young guys, but I mean, there's been a lot of, and we'll get into it. There's been a lot of surprises. I feel like coming out of the gate, maybe guys who didn't necessarily show anything in spring training that have kind of shown stuff to start the year. But I think 5-4 is about as good as you can ask for. I mean, someone said it the other day, or I was listening to something. That's like a 90-win pace for the Cardinals if they were to keep this up through the whole season, which we none of us expect them to keep up a 5-4 pace all the way through. You're going to have, like TZ said, you're going to have those weeks where you lose 5 out of 6, or you're going to have those weeks where you win 5 out of 6 or 4 out of 6. So I think this team is scrappy. I think that's kind of what we've learned so far is this team's scrappy. They're young. They're always in a game, kind of like TZ said, and that's going to make them really exciting. And I think there's been a lot of intriguing storylines that we're going to talk about in today's podcast that have already emerged, which is something, the last few years that we've kind of said it's kind of been a boring team, and I don't think that's the case.
Yeah, you bring up some storylines throughout the season. We'll kind of just go right ahead into it. I feel like the first one we need to talk about is JJ Weatherholt. Obviously, being added to the opening day roster was exciting in itself. Watching him homer in his major league debut, then hitting a walk off the next day. I mean, how are we feeling about JJ Weatherholt so far through what 9 games? Or maybe he's played 8. I know he sat out 1. How are we feeling about JJ right now?
I mean, he's as advertised, right? Or he's been pretty close to as advertised, right? Like he's hitting the ball pretty hard. He hasn't went to all fields yet, which is something that's kind of surprised me. He's kind of leaned more into the pull side stuff than the opposite field stuff yet. But the opposite field stuff's been part of his game. I think it will come back as he kind of gets more used to MLB pitching. Obviously, he had the home run. He's had the walk off. The defense has been really impressive. It's something kind of when you watched him in spring training, he was a little rough with at the start, but he got better as spring training went on, and it's continued to be really good. I think he's at 3 outs above average, which is tied with Bobby Witt for first in MLB right now. So like he's been an elite defender at second, which is not necessarily one of his tools that people really rave about. It's all about the hit tool, all about the good power or the solid enough power potential with that really really good hit tool. But he's been as advertised. Obviously, hitting him leadoff is showing a ton of trust in the guy, and I think that you can't ask for much more than what is he 10, 15, 20% above league average with the bat right now. So it's like, or maybe he went down after yesterday. I don't remember, but he's been pretty solid. He's kind of been as you kind of wish he would be to start the season.
He's at a 114 WRC plus right now. So yeah, about
Yeah.
15%.
Yeah, don't they say average OPS is like 700 too? And he's 723.
Yeah, yeah.
That on base percentage is kind of high though, 359. That's solid.
That's what
That'll
we want to
play.
see from a leadoff guy, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's almost like replacing Donovan's bat basically. um, I really like what I've been seeing out of Win. I did see somebody post. I won't even say any names.
Weatherholt,
They
not win.
said they said what?
You said win. Do you mean Weatherholt?
No, I saw somebody post the other day about maybe I said Win, but about JJ.
Okay, we are talking about JJ. Just making
but-
sure we were still talking about JJ.
They were talking about how he's like it was that second series, how he's been striking out a lot lately, and how they were worried. I'm like, bro, He's a rookie, and this is the second series of the season. Why are we worried? Because he struck out a few times in one series. Like, let's pump the brakes a little bit. Just I think we got some fans got a little too overhyped over the first series, which I don't blame them. I was too. It was very exciting. I mean, he hit his first home run and first walk off and all that good stuff. So he's a fun, exciting player. I can't wait to see him develop all season long. Hopefully, the end looks better than the start, and that'd be hard to beat. But
Yeah. Abe, what's your take on JJ so far, and kind of what you've been seeing?
Yeah, I mean he's been fun to watch. I feel like he's gotten into a few swings that I thought were gonna leave that ended up not leaving. For example, like obviously bases loaded against Tampa Bay, lefty lefty drove one to right field. I thought that one was leaving, died at the warning track. There was one recently in Detroit where I thought he made really good contact with it, and it died again on the warning track in left field. So I think that power is there. I think eventually it will come. So I think he's been a little unlucky, sort of speak. I wouldn't say super unlucky, maybe just like slightly. Not as unlucky as Ivan Herrera, but yeah, I mean he's been fun to watch. I said this on Birds on the Farm. It's just every time he comes up to bat, like it just feels like he's gonna get on base somehow, whether it's walk, base hit, double, etc. Like there's just hope that something good will happen when JJ Weatherholt comes in the box. And plus, his at bats are great. Like he takes a lot of pitches. You know, I feel like at least the last few years we really haven't had guys who take multiple great at bats a game, and JJ Weatherholt can consistently do that. And I think it's a great start. So
Yeah,
to
I
be
want to actually.
honest,
Oh,
I felt like that for the first one through three about how you said good at bats and you just feel like they're going to get on base. I felt like that with all the first three batters.
yeah. And kind of, I want to go back to TZ's point of like him striking out a little bit more. One thing that I think we've seen, and it's that transition right from the minor league baseball or even AAA to the majors, is he's taken a few called strikeouts, like where he's taking a pitch that's right at the bottom of the zone, and that's the difference between, and that's the adjustment between AAA and the majors. Is in AAA and those counts where those guys are painting the bottom of the corner, those are out and away or lower than that, or they're not in the zone. So he's been able to be more selective down at the minor leagues, whereas these major league pitchers, they're going to hit that corner, they're going to hit the bottom of the zone. So that's just going to be an adjustment for JJ, right? He's going to have to learn, like, okay, these guys in a 2-2 count, they're not going to throw a waste pitch. Like, it's going to be in the zone, and I need to be ready to hit. And I think it's just an adjustment, and I think that's something we'll see him make as the season goes on.
yeah, I wouldn't be worried about the strikeouts. I mean, he's striking out at 20%. So if we're gonna worry about JJ Weatherholt striking out 20% through 9 games as a rookie, I mean,
What
we're
are we
just
doing?
yeah, we just have unrealistic expectations. Like seriously, like we shouldn't be expecting this guy to strike out less than 10% of the time. That's just not going to happen because this is Major League Baseball. Like I get it, JJ Weatherholt's a great player, but he's
Yeah,
not, you
he's a
know,
rookie too.
yeah, that's the whole point. Like I
And
don't
he's
know.
still getting on 359%. So on
Yeah, like
base.
like he's matching that with a 10% walk rate. I wouldn't. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
we can't overcomplicate this for JJ and make it seem like he's got to be this perfect golden boy, right? Like he's doing what he needs to do and he's showing great things. So I mean, take it one step at a time. But outside of JJ, I mean, really, I wouldn't say anybody in the offense is really clicking besides one guy, and that's Jordan Walker. I mean, he's had an incredible start to 2026 through these first 9 games. I'm going to start with you, TZ. I mean, where's your head at with this?
Yeah.
You talking to me?
Yes, I'm
Okay, I'll
talking
go.
to
uh, I mean, Walker's been red hot. I'll be the first to say I was a little worried through the spring watching him. I think I even said it on here that he was a guy I was really worried about. He's a guy I've always been super high on, but I know that time that that hourglass is starting to run out, and but so far this has been exciting to watch. I don't know if he can keep this up, and I'm not gonna hold that standard to him. But as long as there was an at bat last game yesterday where there was like five balls. I think one of them was called a strike, but he watched them all, and old Jordan Walker would have chased probably a solid three of them. And it was just nice watching that. And I've said it um, to you guys. I've said it on Twitter. I've said it several times. When Jordan Walker's like vision and plate discipline looks good, that's when Jordan Walker looks good. So if he can keep that up, it'll be a good season for him.
Yeah, I'll let you play off that because I know you've been a big component of his, his plate discipline being the kind of biggest factor in his development the last couple of years.
Yeah, people always talk about the chase, and it's nice that he's cut it down so far at this point. But something I mentioned is his inability to do damage on pitches in the zone that are over the plate. Too
Yeah.
many pitches over the plate he's looked at and watched, and those are pitches you need to be aggressive on because those are the pitches you're going to do the most damage on. And we see him swinging at good pitches over the middle of the plate in early counts, something that he really didn't do much of before the start of this season. And just in general, like his whole approach has changed. Like TZ said, he's not chasing as much. I feel like he's making good swing decisions in zone. He's not trying to hit the fastballs that are painted on the outside corner. He's swinging at 0-1 fastballs over the middle of the plate. He's even if he's not putting them in play, he's at least fouling them off. Like that's what you want. You want to see a little less whiff from him. I'm trying to think off the top of my head what his whiff percentage is right now. I mean, it's 32.1%, which is still a lot, but like I said, the problem really hasn't been that whiff problem. It's really just been the not taking advantage of good pitches.
Off the top of my head, I think that first series he was still kind of whiffing. I think he's just kind of settled down the past like series or two.
Yeah.
I think it started especially with that Steven Matz game. That game he tore Steven Matz up, and then I think it was the next game he looked a little rough again, but then he's been back to solid since.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
he's walking at 12%. I mean, that's huge. So, yeah, I mean, the approach has just been it's changed and it's working for him, and I think he needs to continue doing it. And that gives me hope for sustainability for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's hitting in the 4-hole today.
I believe that is not the case anymore. I believe
Yeah.
they put Win back in the 4-hole.
No, they did not. No,
I
he's still.
six.
They put Win in the 6.
Yeah.
Thought
Also
DG
in the
said he
4.
was going back into the cleanup. Maybe not.
No. But about the whiffs, like he was the worst hitter in terms of whiffs last year, like literally first percentile among all major league qualified hitters, and now he's in the 30th percentile roughly. So that's a 30% jump. And I think before this past couple of games in Detroit, Detroit was a little bit rougher series because before the Detroit series, I think he was in the 45th percentile. So it's like this guy has made a significant jump from being the worst, whiff hitter in all of Major League Baseball to someone who's not great, but with the power potential that you can live with a 33rd or a 40th percentile whiff percentage. Because, he might whiff at the first two pitches, but if he crushes the last pitch for a double or a homer, then it's like, okay, who cares? I mean, most big hitters have a high whiff percentage. Like Aaron Judge has a decently, high whiff percentage. Shohei Ohtani has a decently high whiff percentage. So a power hitter like him, he's not going to be, immune to whiffs. It's not like this guy's going to be a elite, bat to ball guy, even with, but it's the swing decisions, right? Like I think I've been really impressed with even when he gets down 0-2, these last couple series, he's found this ability to lay off pitches and get back to a 2-2 count where he can do some kind of damage and forces the pitcher to get back into the zone. And I've just been really impressed with kind of everything he's done on both sides of the ball. Like the defense has been a lot better than years past. Like he's a neutral to even maybe slightly plus defender with a good arm now. Teams are taking his arm seriously because they know it's now accurate. Like we've seen that. Rays didn't run on him. Obviously, he threw out was that Javi Baez in the first game of the Detroit series on that 100-mile-an-hour throw from the outfield, and he's lifting his batted balls, and like everything's just kind of clicked. Like literally, like everything you want to click on Jordan Walker has suddenly clicked all at the same time. And I mean, it's a huge surprise to I think all three of us would say this is a massive surprise considering all spring except for the last couple of games he looked abysmal. But he looks confident right now. He looks like he's not questioning himself, which is something that I feel like in years past, you can even see it in his body language. He seemed to be questioning himself and kind of thinking through everything. And he doesn't even seem to be thinking right now. He's just kind of playing and doing, and that's when he seems to be at his best.
Like there was a pitch kind of a little outside he was protecting, and old Jordan Walker would have just whiffed and swung out of his shoes probably, but this Jordan Walker, I saw him throw his hands at it and hit it a oppo little blooper single, and that was a really nice one to see.
Yeah. I guess the only other offensive player that I feel like is quote-unquote clicking to their best potential is Victor Scott, and I think we could talk about him here briefly.
I'm so glad you said his name. I thought you were going to say somebody
because
else.
It's not like impressive on the OPS standard or anything, but I think anybody who's watched the games has kind of just seen that Victor Scott's taken enough of a step where I think he's going to be a pretty productive hitter. I mean, the bunting has become significantly better. Like he's getting bunts down in good locations, and when Vic gets bunts down, one every 3 or 4 times, chaos is going to happen, and he's going to get on base. Yeah. And the hitting looks better too. I mean, he's been able to kind of take the ball the opposite way a little bit more. He's kind of getting into more line drives and ground balls, which with his speed is kind of what you want. You don't want as many fly balls. And I think he's just kind of been pretty impressive for what he needs to be.
Yeah. Does, off the top of your head, does Baseball Savant, does that add bunt exit velos into average exit velocity?
I do not know off the top of my head.
Because like I was looking at his average exit velocity, and it's 88.3, which is better for him. But if that includes, that's what I was going to say. Because I feel like when he actually makes contact and hits the ball rather than bunts it, I feel like his exit velos are relatively high for him. Like I want to say over 90 miles an hour. Because I feel like I've seen plenty of like 98, 99 mile per hour exit velos on hard singles, whether up the middle to right field, like even if it's on the ground, like he's hitting the ball hard, which is a huge improvement. So, I agree with you. And he's stealing bases. The defense is still good. I mean, there's just a lot he's doing right, and I really like that he's getting the ball on the ground right now. I was talking about that with Kareem, and I mean, everything we've wanted with Walker and Scott in terms of getting the ball in the air more or getting the ball on the ground for Victor, like they've actually kind of like flipped now. So,
and that's what they both needed to maximize their profiles.
Yeah, and it's working up to this point. I mean, like I can't emphasize it more. The fact that he's hitting more ground balls, he's hitting line drives, like that's huge for his game. Yeah. 55.6% of Victor Scott's batted ball events have been on the ground so far.
Yeah.
With 27.8% line drives.
Yeah.
That's good. I mean, that's huge.
Yeah.
So, I mean, good for both of them. I'm really glad something's clicking right now, and I hope to watch it continue the rest of the year, because these are the steps forward we've all been looking for.
Yep.
But
before we move on, I just want to ask: does anybody have any guy in the lineup right now that they're like concerned about? That's gonna like that we feel is going to be here. Obviously we like. I feel like we're all concerned about Nathan Church, but like, is Nathan Church really going to be a starter past May or June when Newt comes back? Probably not.
No.
So is there any like regular that you're really concerned about at this point?
Mine's probably Mason Wynn. I feel
Can
like
I
the
tell you why you
hitting's
shouldn't be on Mason Wynn?
yeah.
He starts off slow every time, every year. Like his first like month or so is always like really bad, where he hits like a 150 or something like that. Like it's bad, but
There's
he
a lot of
always
hitters
ends up
like that.
he always ends up bouncing back. Like Goldie was a guy like that. That was always bad at the start. Goldie was bad the first month of the year and the last month. I remember that. I think Burley's usually kind of a slow starter, but I I know Burley's like numbers aren't really there, but I still think he's like putting in good at bats. So I'm not worried about Burley either. Man, there's not really anyone I'm too worried about right now. I'd like Gorman to get on that average a little up at least, because he's closer to that Mendoza line right now.
Yeah, he's
But
he's reverted to a little bit of his tendencies that he has during he's kind of shown in the past versus kind of what he showed in spring. But I think
yeah,
he had a really good first couple series, and now he's kind of turned back a little bit bad. I don't think the Detroit series was too good for him. Besides that RBI hit the other day, that
if
RBI
I
single, he hasn't had as much power this last series.
if I had to pick a guy I'm the most worried about, and like I said, I'm not worried about anybody right now because we're so early into a season that's gonna be ups and downs. But I'd probably say Herrera. I just expect a little more out of him, and he's hitting like 220 something.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about Herrera. He's kind of
I'm
had
not
good
either.
underlying stats. He's been hitting the ball pretty hard.
Yeah,
It's
he's
just
been
kind of been a little
phenomenal.
bit unlucky for him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll be honest. I'm kind of shocked the results for Nolan Gorman aren't there. Because his end zone contact percentage is 84%. So
yeah,
Yeah.
you looking at that, you would feel like eventually something would turn a corner. Like at some point, he's going to turn a corner, right? With an end zone contact percentage that high for him.
Yeah.
His expected slugging is still like pretty good if I'm not mistaken. It's 414.
Yeah, that's pretty.
That's above 50%. It's the 64th percentile right now. So
Yeah.
I
Yep.
feel like eventually, like if Gorman can continue that, that will hopefully, turn a page and we'll see better results. So
Yep.
yeah. We just need to see a little higher average from a few different guys, including him. And like you said, Win. You're worried about Win.
for me, it's just the average exit velos for win. That was it. I know his last game in Detroit, he had two batted ball events that were like 100. It was like 101 and then like 99. Like that was a good first step. And in one of those he slapped the ball the other way for a single. So it was a good step forward. But I'd like to see that a little bit more. I'd like to see him continue at least spraying the ball the other way because that's when he's at his best. So
Yep.
I wouldn't say I'm too worried, but he's probably the most worried I've been out of everybody so far.
Yeah. Well,
It's fair.
should we move on, Aiden?
Yeah, let's talk about. I guess it'll be like a
The more
two-way
worrying
thing.
part of
Yeah,
this team, probably.
let's talk about the rotation before we get into the bullpen. I'll kind of start with this one. The rotation for me has been underwhelming. I thought Matthew Liberatore would have more swing and miss than he's had up to this point. He's had very little. Still he's getting great results. Like there's not a lot of hard contact off Liberatore. Like he's just, controlling damage right now, so that'll work. But eventually you're gonna have to see some more swing and miss. Obviously, like Dustin May, that's been a disaster. Michael McGreevy, like I know on paper, like it's there, but I mean, he's kind of been lucky as a pitcher, so some worry there. Leahy's been fine. Like I wouldn't say he's been great, but I wouldn't say he's been bad. I think my only concern for me is like the velo. I felt like, which it's his last start against Detroit. I think it was fine as the game progressed. But you still kind of wonder, is it better to put him in the bullpen as a weapon for now and let a guy like Dobbins or Fitz take his spot? And I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think Palante's had the best start out of any pitcher we've had up to this point. So,
He's also the only guy with one start.
well, it'll be two after today.
We're watching it right
after
now.
this. I mean, what are your thoughts? I'm underwhelmed by it, and I'm honestly kind of nervous about the rotation.
I'm not worried, honestly. I mean, I don't know why you're worried about Libby. Um, like, I understand your points. He's not getting whiffs and strikeouts and all that, but I mean, what's it say? 1.64 ERA. I mean, I don't expect that, but that's I don't know how you can be underwhelmed with that. And then McGreevy's been basically what I kind of expect. Palante, his first start was pretty good. Hopefully he can keep that up tonight. Uh, Leahy, I mean, it's his first year starting. You can't expect too much out of him. He's basically our five in my eyes, even though he's starting in the four hole. Um, I would have liked to see a little better out of Leahy, but like I said, it's his first year starting. There's going to be some rough spots. But Dustin May's the one I'm worried about. I expected him to be pretty good, like almost competing with Libby, and he's been easily the worst starter. It's been rough for him. What do you guys think about May?
Do you want me to go over kind of?
Yeah.
So I'm not concerned about Libby. I think Libby will end up somewhere where he was last year, like somewhere in that area. Maybe a little bit better just because second year starting. He's suppressed damage better this year than he has in the past. So I'd kind of expect that to kind of average out a little bit better. When it comes to Dustin May, or I guess I'll go in order of how they have it. So Michael McGreevy, I'm extremely worried, like really worried. He's giving up a ton of hard contact. This luck's not going to stay up forever. He's straight on the Eric Fetty, Miles Michaelis path if this stays up. Honestly, like I think he's straight on his way to a 5.5 to 6 ERA if this continues up.
Plus the velo's down too.
Yeah, plus the velo's down.
Yeah.
So
That part I am worried about.
I'm extremely worried about Mr. Michael McGreevy unless the velo gets back up or they figure out something here where he's giving up less hard contact because the ERA is like really good right now, but like the expected ERA is like 8.1. Now I don't expect him to be an 8.1 ERA pitcher, but like he's not gonna be like a 2 or 3 ERA guy if this keeps up. It's gonna be somewhere in the high fours, low fives. I was impressed by Palante. We'll see how he looks tonight. Like TZ said, if the changeup's working and he's placing the knuckle curve in the strike zone like he was last start, he's going to be a pretty good pitcher. Probably your number 2 or your number 3 this year. Dustin May, 2 or 3 on this rotation, which, as we kind of said, is not that impressive. Dustin May has looked rough. Like, the stuff's there, and that's why you're going to give him more time than usual, is because he is throwing 99 miles an hour with that good sweeper. But, like, the location has been awful. Like, he's leaving the ball in the middle of the plate. He's telegraphing his pitches. Like, kind of similar to, like, me and Aidan have talked about this, but we're like Cameron Flukie out of Coast Carolina. Like, Dustin May, you can see the pitch coming out of the hand very easily. Or, like, he telegraphs his pitches very easily. And when you don't hit your spots and you're showing your pitch way before it comes out of your hand, like, you're going to get hammered even if you're throwing 99. So Dustin May, it's all about location. If he can get his location better, you'll obviously start to see those numbers come down. Kyle Leahy, as you guys know, I am a Kyle Leahy fan. Big fan of Kyle Leahy. But he's just been okay. I thought he was gonna be a little better. Yesterday was probably through his first 4 innings was probably the most dominant I've seen a Cardinal starter all year in terms of swing and miss. Like the changeup was working. He was getting guys in the sweeper a little bit. Like he got some ugly swings from guys like McGonigal and Javi Baez on some nasty different pitches there. So that was good to see. But he's been inefficient. Like I'll just go out and say it. Like he's gotten to deep counts. He's been 20 to 18 to 25 pitches pretty much every inning, which has kind of caused him to be a five and dive guy. I thought considering his first start was against the Mets, and the Mets were a really tough lineup, I thought he navigated that pretty well. I think out of any of our starters, we'll see the most progression from him all year if they decide to keep him there. Now, as we'll get into bullpen talk, could Kyle Leahy probably be more valuable to the Cardinals this year in a bullpen role, considering how the bullpen's kind of struggled? Yes. I think him as that kind of 2 to 3 inning guy that could also do high leverage stuff could be extremely valuable for the Cardinals, especially because I don't think the difference between like a Hunter Dobbins and a Kyle Leahy is that much. But I think they're going to see the starting experiment through, so I don't expect that anytime soon.
To your McGreevy thing, I would hate to see him in a hitter-friendly ballpark.
I mean, you'd hate to see any pitcher in a hitter-friendly ballpark, honestly.
Well, I think some could get through it. Like, I wouldn't be worried about Libby there. Uh, Palante, I feel like Palante would be decent. What? Don't look at me like that. He usually gets a lot of ground balls. That's the only reason I say that. Palante usually finds a way to get out of trouble, I feel like,
No.
in the past. So
Yeah.
McGreevy, I I would be a little more worried about. I don't like that look.
I'm just worried by everybody.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm like overly concerned about Liberatore. I'm not even worried about him. Like I said, I'm underwhelmed by him. But yeah, I mean, May and McGreevy are definitely concerning, but I feel like Leahy's carried his weight. I feel like Palante in his one start has carried his weight. But we'll stick with pitching here. What do we think about the bullpen?
Oh God.
I think that's a fair
I
statement.
think we should start off with the arms we trust.
Sure, yeah,
Like-
go for it.
Because there's only like,
3.
is there 3 in your mind? Oh, okay.
Riley O'Brien's been pretty good.
Yeah, I
JoJo's
like
been pretty
O'Brien.
good.
I like JoJo.
I feel like
And
George Soriano's been fine.
I feel like he's been fine too, but I don't know if I fully trust him.
I would rely on him more than a lot of the other guys we have in the bullpen.
I think Stanek's looked a lot better since that first series.
He's been all right.
Stanek, especially that first game.
Challenge that.
Like,
Sorry.
He looked like Ryan Helsley. Like, he just wants to blow a save so bad.
Yeah.
Like they just did he get the bases loaded? Oh man,
Yeah.
I did not like seeing that, and I think that's kind of been Stanek's problem in his career is control issues, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was kind of expected.
He's got good stuff though. He throws hard.
I'm starting to trust Gordon Graceffo just a slightly bit more.
Very
That was
fair.
the third
Yeah.
one on
Not,
my
not
list.
totally, but
I kind of trust Graceffo probably about the third most. I would say Stanek third, but like sometimes he just doesn't control his pitches well enough. But like overall, the two I fully incompetent in is JoJo and O'Brien. Those are like the only two.
Hold on. I gotta double check and make sure I'm not losing my mind here. Hold on. I didn't spell his name right. Hold on.
who are you searching up?
Yeah, no, I don't know what I was thinking. I guess he's been fine. I guess Justin Brule's been like okay. I mean, the ERA is not there, but I mean, he has 8 strikeouts across 7 innings. So
Yeah.
He was really I was really impressed with that appearance against the Mets where he kind of got that lane of Lindor in Soto, and I think he struck out Soto. I think he walked Lindor, but I was pretty impressed with that. He seemed to be pretty good, kind of as expected. Good against lefties, not the best against righties.
yeah,
So
Which
I
is
his
mean,
fine.
he's a
serving
lefty.
is perfect.
Yeah, he's a lefty specialist. That's what he's here to be, is to face lefties and get him out. He's kind of like Randy Choate back in the day. He would come in for that one batter like Joey Votto or something, and get one out, and then he's out of the game. So
We
Yeah.
we used to have somebody else like that. Was it Mark
Mark Zimchinski
Shinsky?
was like that. Yeah, yeah,
He
he
used
was.
to. I think he used to always come in for like one or two lefties, and then
Yeah,
he'd just be done.
yeah,
He
but I
was he
mean,
was good in that role.
I feel like Swanson will slowly get back to how he was. Right now, it just seems more like a control and command issue rather than,
Yeah. Yeah.
I would say, you know, bad pitching. So,
Yeah.
well, I'm out of all the guys who are struggling in the bullpen, he's kind of my one guy where I'm like, okay, like I'll wait it out for him and see how it goes because we saw what he could do last year.
Yeah. I know a lot of people are comparing it to the Ryan Fernandez situation with Wisconsin, but I think the more comparable situation, in my opinion, is the JoJo Romero situation from the start of last year. You guys remember JoJo Romero had like zero command to start the year. He was walking a ton of guys, giving up some hits, and then like they had to set him down for a few days to kind of work on his mechanics, and then after that he was absolute nails. And I could see something similar with Swanson, where like he might get 3 or 4 days off to just kind of reset the mechanics, and then he comes back after that and he's a lot better. So I wouldn't be surprised. Now, is there the chance he ends up being Ryan Fernandez? Of course, but I feel like the stuff's still there with Swanson, which is, I think a good sign that he might get back. Whereas I think Fernandez that second year was kind of, the velocity in the fastball is down a couple miles an hour, and the slider wasn't as sharp. So I
Yeah.
have a little bit more trust in Swanson to bounce back than the Fernandez situation last year.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, but other than that, I feel like we could really say the bullpen's been putrid.
Yeah,
It's
Mm.
it's not reliable at all outside of a couple guys, like we said. I mean, once you kind of get to the bullpen, it's you kind of sit there and you're like, all right, well, how's the rest of this game gonna go?
yeah, yeah.
So
Especially if you're in the fifth inning and the sixth. Those bridge innings right now are really rough to watch.
yeah, absolutely. You guys got anything else on that? Or I was thinking maybe we could switch to just minor league baseball for 5-ish minutes, kind of talk about guys we've been impressed with so far.
Real quick,
Yeah.
why do we send down Roy Croft Jr.? That's what I
Uh,
want to know.
Because
Don't ask
Schuster
me.
is stretched out to Jared Schuster is stretched out to 75 pitches and a starter's workload, so
Yeah.
he can pitch you 5 innings today if Palante only gives you 4 for some reason.
I would have really
True.
liked to see what's his name, Luis Castillo. Is that how you
Gastelum.
pronounce
Gastelum?
it?
Gastelum. Yeah.
Gastelum.
But he's a 1 inning guy, so like it wouldn't make much sense in kind of the role that.
But there's not very many guys in this bullpen that I think can give you a good 1 inning. So that would have been nice.
That's a very fair point.
And I think Graceffo could eat a couple innings for you. Like he could be that long relief guy if you need.
He has
I mean,
that
he used to start.
velocity issue, though.
Yeah.
I don't know if he still does, but he did last year,
Yep.
even where he would kind
Yeah.
of throw 1 inning, and then after that, like his velocity would fade pretty quickly. But I mean,
Yep,
to answer
Maybe
your
he's a
question, I don't
short-term
know.
guy.
Yep.
But let's start with farm hands here because it's in his name, farm hands. Who across any level? Give me a few names, I should say, that you've been impressed with so far.
I guess we'll start with the Bash brothers in Memphis, Blaze Jordan and Jimmy Crooks.
Yeah.
Both have OPSs over 1,500, I believe,
Yeah.
or close to 1,500. I think Jimmy Crooks is like 1,476 or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe it's both above 1,400. I don't remember, but both have been extremely good. Both have 3 home runs in like 9 games, which is really good. Both are getting on base, hitting the ball hard, which is something that Blaze Jordan didn't quite do last year. So it's really good to see him get off to a really hard start, where he's not only making contact with the ball consistently, but it's now hard and somewhat in the air. So I've been fairly impressed with that. Jimmy Crook's obviously been awesome. Both sides of the ball. Defensively, he's looked ready. Offensively, he looks ready, and we can have that whole conversation probably in another episode, because that's probably a 40-minute conversation in itself, whether Cardinals should have Pages or Crooks or Pozo, or who they should have starting. But I've been impressed with those two up in Memphis. And then I'll leave Tanner for the Tanner Glazer himself over there. But Drangelo Sanja really impressed me. 5 innings, 7 Ks, was just really good. So
Absolutely. Listen, I've heard Tanner Glazer all the time now. You'd be shocked how much I hear it now. But I'm actually, before I start with him, I'm going to go with somebody that Farmhands put in his article, I believe. You put Cade McGee in your article, correct?
I did.
That's what I thought. It's only been 2 games, but he's looked good. Like, he's had some really good at bats, and I've been impressed with him. So he's somebody I'm gonna watch as the season progresses. I mean, he's got 2 doubles, 2 walks.
Yeah.
I mean,
He, on the backfields, they're all talking about how he's just hitting the ball harder.
Yeah.
And he already did some stuff that I mentioned in my article, like getting the ball in the air and getting it to your pull side. And that's something that allowed Reynolds Rodriguez to have success last year. So I figured if this guy has increased exit velos, like, this could be a legit weapon.
yeah, absolutely. So that's somebody I'm gonna keep watching. Tanner Franklin. We'll get to Tanner Franklin now. Tanner Franklin, like I said this again on Birds on the Farm. Like Sanchez was great, right? But Tanner Franklin was electric. I mean, 9 strikeouts. It was 9, correct?
Yeah, 9.
9 strikeouts through 3 2/3 innings pitched.
Yep, only 1 hit.
Only 1 hit. Some weak contact. He hit a couple guys.
Had a few walks.
Yeah, you know it. But I
We
mean,
got away from him in that 4th a little bit, but
what impressed me though is it was bases loaded, no outs, and he surrendered 1 run after striking out 2 hitters in that kind of situation. Like, that's impressive stuff. That's what you need out of a starter nowadays. So, as Palante gives up a run there, but I mean, Tanner Franklin was great. I mean, I've been on top of his game since December. Farmhands was tracking it with me. I mean, he sent me like, hey, like, look at this pitch he threw, and we were discussing it, and we were like, holy crap, that's a whole new pitch, which ended up being his sweeper. Obviously, I'm just gonna continue watching him. I think he's a guy who's gonna see multiple levels this year, and you know, it is what it is. But like you said, you know, Jimmy Crooks, Blaze Jordan, Senche. I'm trying to think. Like, I feel like
Prieto's had a good start.
Prieto's had a good start. Quinn Matthews has looked pretty good so far to start the year. Bryson Moss had a rough second start in Memphis. Fitz
Has looked kinda.
I don't.
solid.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Fitz is on there.
I thought he's looked good.
Friend of the podcast, Hunter Dobbins, looked pretty decent in his first start on Tuesday night.
Granted, though, he's coming back from injury, so he kind of has the injury excuse right now. He's getting called up sometime soon, right?
Who?
Dobbins? Maybe I dreamed about this.
He's on the 30-day injured list clock, so they haven't used an option yet. So they'll have to either call him up or option him at the end.
Okay,
of that
that's what I thought it was. Okay, I was like, or maybe I dreamed that something's supposed
But
to
he's
happen.
been really impressive on the backfields, and I mean, I think the Cardinals organization kind of understands that he's a major league pitcher, and he's gonna be in the major leagues. You know, he might even be above Fitz in terms of that pecking order.
Yeah, but I mean, we won't get too much into minor league stuff. We're kind of gonna let
Dakota Harris has been really
he's
electric.
grand
3 home runs,
slams,
a grand slam and 2 3-run home runs. Like, that's That's 11 RBIs in 3 games.
Yeah, absolutely. But the only reason why I don't want to go too deep into it is because, like I said, like some guys have only played like 3 games, and
Yeah.
I kind of want to let them play a little more before we really get into them. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
other than
I
that,
mean,
boys, I don't think I have anything.
it's kind of been the same with the major league players. Like we're kind of breaking it down, but like we said, they've only played a week and a half.
Yeah.
But it's just our takes so far, and uh, like you guys mentioned, Crooks, and I think Farmhand said Crooks or Pajes. Like I'm sure that discussion will probably be coming up in a
Week or
podcast.
two, yeah.
Yeah, in a week or two. I'm sure that'll be coming up on here. And I will say with Blaze Jordan, that's the dude I was hating on the most in the spring, and he's looked really good. So good for him. I hope he keeps it up, and I hope it's not like Lucan Baker situation where he's what they call a 4A player. So
Yeah.
hopefully he's not like that, and if he ever gets the call up, it carries over.
Yeah. I think we're all smiling because we all just saw what happened in the game, but
Yeah.
and it's not
Uh,
good.
you guys are right ahead of me. You remember?
Oh no, I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
That's, yep.
But
Well,
I don't got anything else, guys.
nope.
Any of you guys got anything?
It looks
Nope.
like Palante ain't got anything else left either.
Ugh.
All right. Well, we're gonna leave it there.
And
Thank you guys for listening and joining with us again here on Redbirds on the Arch, and we will see you next time.